Is OMAD good for kids? Yes, it is, under the proper conditions and with some things in mind. First of all, people ask me, they say, do your girls eat OMAD? And of course the answer is no. And here's the reason. When we go to explain stuff like this, you have to understand everything is contextual. So it's not as though all of your life you need to eat once a day. It's not even, some people who never struggle with weight or never have any trouble maximizing their productivity will never have to fast in any way whatsoever. Children are a perfect example of peak insulin sensitivity throughout their childhood. For instance, Michaela will bring around little Dr. Pepper. I don't know why her grandparents get her Dr. Pepper, and I'll come and see a can and it's about 1/4 drank down. And we'll go throughout the house and I'll say, here's another can of Dr. Pepper, you didn't finish it. Well, the problem is she can't finish it because her body is so in tune. Not only is she really little, but her body is so in tune that when she drinks it, she only needs a little bit, and her cells, her receptor cells, tell the brain, we got enough. I can go back to my experiences in high school. It was not until junior or maybe a sophomore in high school till I could drink a full Dr. Pepper. I could not drink one can of Dr. Pepper all the way. I could only drink half because of the same reason. Children have peak insulin sensitivity. So they can go out trick-or-treating and get all of this candy and only eat a few pieces, and then a few hours later eat a few more. Why do children graze? They graze because, again, insulin sensitivity is at its peak. Their body is correctly saying, oh, we've got enough, no more. When you get older and you live in Western society and you lose touch with good sense, you start to eat because there's a lot of food around. You start to follow Western values. You start to reduce your insulin sensitivity, and you get a gut. You get love handles. You get thunder thighs. You get, you get pulky and puffy looking, and you look like some of these guys these young guys that are filling out their jeans really good and they have a little overhang, a little gut. They're losing insulin sensitivity, so their appetite increases. Their body starts to slowly, on a very minute level, reject what is coming in. So they have to eat more of it and eat more of it. And pretty soon your brain gets that satisfactory signal that says, I'm satisfied. But that should happen with very little bits of food. Ideally, we should be grazers just like our chimp cousins. We should be easily able to live on a natural diet and do well. Why can't we? Because we lose touch. But children, unless they have some sort of hormone issue, they haven't lost touch. So is OMAD safe for kids? And by the way, by kids I mean 17 and under. And yes, it is, but here's what you have to keep in mind. When you go throughout life, one of the most important things is that kids will respond much better. They'll respond much better to OMAD, and not even full OMAD. They'll respond to 2MAD. They can do 2 meals a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, no snacking in between, get rid of all straight sugars, and go with just normal meals. Even if it's something like rice and mashed potatoes and steak, or goulash and corn, normal stuff, they'll be fine. If you can keep those rules, no snacking, you won't even need to do OMAD for your kids. Now, I'm working with 2 girls, or was working with 2 girls in the San Antonio area, 2 twin girls who were 10, and they had genetically, they were already pre-diabetic. So what we did is we did OMAD for 3 weeks, and then they switched to 2MAD. So basically doing 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And the reason is because so that they could eat with their family. And keep in mind, these are 10-year-olds, so well, their body responded beautifully, even with a hormone deficiency, and even being Hispanic and predisposed to being larger, to being thicker. So, but here's what you have to know. You have to watch out for deficiencies, number 1. But number 2, you have to keep in mind, if you don't do anything about it, the kids are going to get fatter. They're going to become eventually probably diabetic or pre-diabetic, and they're going to go back and forth in weight, and you're going to set them up for a life of difficulty, because it is extremely challenging and difficult to go through life as a child when you're obese. But of course, you're also going to teach them how to not regulate their eating. So by putting them on a limited OMAD, maybe for a month or 2 weeks, and controlling that, you're actually doing the best thing you can do. That way you're not exposing them to anything that is too drastic. And why do I say too drastic? Because children they haven't finished forming, and so their body needs to get all of the nutrients in spades. It's not like an adult where you can go for a month with less protein or less vitamin B or less vitamin C. You can go 6 months to a year actually with lower nutrients in certain regards. And if you take a blood panel of the average American, you're going to find that most people are deficient in a lot of things. But when you're a child, you need to overdo that. And that's where Western society has not helped. It has come in and they start eating out of vending machines. Back in our day, they had a lot of vending machines. Schools are doing away with them now. You could go and get Cheetos and a Dr. Pepper and a Reese's candy bar, a Reese's packet of the 4 little buttercups for your dinner. Well, it doesn't take long to realize that you're going to feel pretty bad if you do that. But when you're a child, you don't have that discipline. What do? You sleep till 4 in the afternoon. You start staying out with your friends. You play video games. You do stuff that are kid stuff that you can do. So here's the thing. If you are considering putting your child, if you have an obese child and you want to put them on OMAD, aim for about a month. And you're going to find that they snap back beautifully because their cells are healthy. Even if they are facing a genetic predisposition to obesity, you're going to find that they respond good. And one of the best meals that we did with the 2 girls I mentioned were steak, mashed potatoes, and green beans. That was the evening meal for 1 whole week. And then in the morning was just a taco and like a bacon and egg taco. And they did that. They lost the weight. And they haven't gained the weight back. They're still doing very well. Because children will respond better than adults because their body is never far off from its peak condition. That's the advantage of youth. That's the advantage of strength. It's like taking a 22-year-old and a 42-year-old. You put them in the gym and have them work out for 6 weeks. The 22-year-old is going to make better progress because the cells are younger and healthier. And as much as I hate to admit it, it's absolutely true. So what you should aim to do with your children is preserve their grazing instinct, especially if they are younger. If they're under 17, if they're under 12 or 11, try to preserve their grazing instincts because you want them ideally to be able to eat socially and reconnect with their full feeling. Now, if you are an adult, why don't I teach the same thing with adults? Because adults, you have come too far. You have been overwhelmed with the fact that you can get in your car and go to the gas station and get a bunch of cookies or candy bars or sweet sodas, or you can go to the store and load up on processed food that will overwhelm your pancreatic response. It will overwhelm your body. Your body has to produce too much sugar control, has too much insulin to keep all of that in control. And the fact that that's available to you and that you have your own means to buy and provide for yourself means that OMAD might be right for you. And if you're watching this channel, maybe you've been struggling with some other form of some issue with your weight, or you're looking to get better mental clarity. Either way, but children have it made. They only need slight control. So if you're going to do OMAD with your kids, aim for a month of strict OMAD and then gradually add in actually after about 2 weeks to a month a second meal, a meal in the morning and a meal at night. Just eliminate all the junk sugars like the stuff you get at gas stations and vending machines and things like that, and you'll find that your kids will respond beautifully.